Genesis chapter 5:1 This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him, two male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day when they were created. Adam's descendants to Noah. Genesis chapter 5:1. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. 2. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day when they were created. 3. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. 4. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. 5. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. 6. And Seth lived 105 years, and begat Enos. 7. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. 8. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. 9. And Enos lived 90 years, and begat Canaan. 10. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. 11. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. 12. And Canaan lived 70 years, and begat Mahalaleel. 13. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalaleel 840 years, and begat sons and daughters. 14. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. 15. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years, and begat Jared. 16. And Mahalaleel lived after he begat Jared 830 years, and begat sons and daughters. 17. And all the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died. 18. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. 19. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years, and begat sons and daughters. 20. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. 21. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. 22. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. 23. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. 24. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. 25. And Methuselah lived 187 years, and begat Lamech. 26. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years, and begat sons and daughters. 27. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. 28. And Lamech lived 182 years, and begat a son. 29. And he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. 30. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years, and begat sons and daughters. 31. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. 32. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Summary: This is the book of the generations of Adam. Chapter 5 serves to link the history of creation and the earliest of the humans with the time of Noah and the flood. It accomplishes this with a simple genealogy of Adam's descendants through his son Seth. The chapter begins by restating an essential truth about God's creation of humankind. He made men and women in his own likeness and used the name Adam, which is literally the Hebrew word for human. This likeness isn't about a physical resemblance to God. It's about God giving his image to humans as his representatives on earth. It's about sharing with humanity his responsibility to rule and subdue the rest of creation. Being made in God's likeness also means that each human life has great value in God's eyes. This likeness to God is passed down from one generation to the next in the same way that a father's likeness is passed down to his son. So as Adam fathers Seth and Seth fathers Enos, the likeness of God and man are handed down through the years together. Chapter 5 also reveals key details about the lives of people after the garden, spiritually and physically separated from God and under his curse. First, the lifespans and reproductive years of the earliest humans were extraordinarily long. The text gives explicit clues as to whether or not the numbers reported are actual years. However, it is difficult to square a non-literal interpretation with the figures given. Such lengthy lifespans would have been entirely possible on an Earth free from pollution and genetic decay. This would have allowed for the Earth to be populated very quickly. Second, we see that though there is great progress, as mortal eyes see it, humanity thrives in this chapter. The curse remained as an oppressive reality in the lives of men. Chapter 4 detailed the lives of Cain's descendants, some of whom exhibited even more aggression than Cain did. Genesis chapter 4 verses 23 to 24. In contrast, Noah's father, Lamech, declares that Noah will provide comfort or rest for him in the painful work of pulling his livelihood out of the ground. Finally, no matter how long these first generations of humans lived, one theme is constant in their lives: they die. This ultimate consequence of sin becomes the norm. Enoch, commended for walking with God, becomes the exception that proves this rule. Genesis chapter 5 verse 24. His case becomes unique in all of history. The long lives of these patriarchs also highlight another crucial aspect of the fall of man. According to the numbers given in this chapter, Adam and Seth are both still alive when Lamech, Noah's father, is born. Methuselah, who dies in the same year as the flood, lived more than 200 years before Adam passed away. The sin and depravity humanity falls into, as chapter 6 describes, is not something which can be blamed on ignorance. Right up to the moment of the flood, humanity had access to men and women who were first-hand eyewitnesses of God's power and providence. Our decay was not due to simple error, but willful disobedience. The chapter ends with the birth of Noah's sons, preparing us for the story of God's righteous judgment of human sin through the flood.